what's your initial reaction to the CFD results today?
It's mixed. I think there is a positive story to pull from them. I think it demonstrates, as already been commented on the airwaves this morning, that it demonstrates a drift downwards in terms of, or upwards rather, in terms of cost effectiveness of solar. It represents very good value for money, increasingly good value for money for the public purse. And it points the way to it being a grid parity renewables industry within a very short period. Having said that, I think a number of developers will be sorely disappointed by what they've seen this morning. There are only 5 projects that have come through. They represent a sum total of 71 megawatts. 71 megawatts is really a very small amount of capacity. It is not transformational for a gigawatt scale industry. And as such, and with the prices that have been given to the successful applicants, some as low as £50 a megawatt hour, and the highest being £79 a megawatt hour. I think there will be a very sharp intake of breath in the industry, recognising that this is not a shaving of subsidy. It is a completely new ballgame, and one in which perhaps the larger players will just about be able to survive at larger than 5 megawatt level, but query whether the smaller players in community projects will be able to do the same.
It's only the first year of the CFDs. Do you think that perhaps in the future it could be a more useful mechanism to solar?
I've consistently said, and many people have agreed, that CFDs are pretty good if you get one. If you don't get one, then it's very interesting watching other people getting them, but it's all rather academic. In order for CFDs to be good for solar, they need to be given out to enough projects to make a difference. Enough projects across, if you like, the range of projects. Smaller developers, community projects, projects perhaps not just in sunny South England or near the coast. If only a handful of projects are on each occasion granted CFDs, and they remain within the tight parameters of the auction results this time round, it's difficult to see how a repetition next time and the time after of this result is going to keep the larger scale ground-mounted industry on track.
And armed with the information from today's results, where do you think the solar industry in the UK will go next?
I think there are lots of exciting opportunities that remain. I think we need to keep this in proportion. It may be a cause for pause today and for analysis and assessment as to exactly what this news means. But in terms of the continuation of a successful industry, I have no doubt that it will adapt and will continue to grow. Clearly, sub-5 megawatt projects remain completely viable. There is still a big opportunity for those projects that were built out at less than 5 megawatts to top up under the ROC regime to 5 megawatts, and that remains. There are clearly sub-5 megawatt projects that can be put in the ground over the next couple of years within the ROC or the FIT regime. There are new opportunities to do projects, 5 megawatt projects, next to another 5 megawatt project under the new community rules that are coming through. And I think that's a really exciting opportunity for a combination of 2 projects. It has its challenges, but it's a wonderful new development that could, for the first time, properly align the community sector, which is no longer small. 5 megawatts is not a small project, but aligning the community sector with the commercial sector, and I think there are some great opportunities for some very interesting joint ventures to grow up, perhaps even encouraged by the news this morning. And I suppose as an addendum, I'm very excited by the storage opportunities that solar has in the UK. There are some very interesting pilot projects that are occurring at the moment. They are relatively small scale, but are getting bigger all the time. And I'm sure that, again, the news this morning will only encourage people to take forward those pilot projects, to deploy more and more, and to help ensure that power that's generated at times when it's not particularly needed, or is perhaps particularly cheap in the market, is released into the market when it's most needed and when the power price is higher. That will enable perhaps marginal projects to be made stronger and more profitable, and for existing profitable projects to be enhanced, and for the industry really to see a new opportunity coming through its existing asset base, let alone new projects.